Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today another scenario sent in by Mudman. It is the late 1930s. The US has designated me as their chief naval architect, hoping that I'm going to give them a vast fleet of shiny new battleships. Imagine their surprise when the shiny fleet of battleships turns out to be an only slightly shiny fleet of cruisers. The mission is to design the ultimate heavy cruiser. Now, there is a lot of room for interpretation of the ultimate heavy cruiser. Is the ultimate heavy cruiser capable of doing everything? Is it capable of harassing shipping? Is it capable of racing towards a target area and operate there against destroyers? You have all sorts of different tasks. But in this case, I have the opponent of Japan, which I have a slight tech advantage to, of only 8 years. They, however, have a battleship and 2 battlecruisers, 4 light cruisers and 2 destroyers, making for a total of 9 ships. This, however, means that while I can design a cruiser that would be great against light cruisers and destroyers, it would also have to be effective against battlecruisers and battleships. I'm not quite sure how to do that, but let's see what I can come up with. The mission is to win. So sink everything, while sustaining fewer than 50% losses. So not only am I supposed to win the battle, I can also not lose more than 3 cruisers. This is from the same guy who sent in the budget battleships that I did a while ago, and he hopes that this one's slightly more doable. So Mudman, we shall see. Okay, if this is going to be the heavy cruiser of all heavy cruisers, I'm going to have to make it that it's capable of sustaining as much damage and dealing as much damage as possible. Since the US fleet apparently was expecting battleships, I'm going to go ahead and say that I have a lot of budget to make this thing work. When it comes to survivability, I'm thinking not that much deck armor, potentially, but a whole lot of belt, so that I can keep the ship afloat. And when it comes to dealing with battleships and battlecruisers, which generally aren't too maneuverable, I might be able to torpedo them. The question becomes, do I go for the battleships and battlecruisers first? Or do I go for a different target first? Do I go for the smaller ships so that they don't detect the torpedoes? There is something to be said for either option. Let's go with a 13-inch armor belt all around, which is something that would make quite a few ships very jealous. A bit more on the conning tower. Oh, sorry, on the superstructure. And conning tower to 15. Okay. Now then, when it comes to towers, am I going to go for long-range accuracy? Let's just go back a bit. Do I go for a ship that's capable of torpedoing a lot, or using large guns? Because the biggest gun that I can put on there is an 11-inch gun, which has a range of 23 kilometers. But if you want to rely on burning the ship down, you're going to need something a bit less sizable. You're going to need, for example, 8-inchers, because they reload in 21 seconds without a buff, versus 27.7. But if they hit the 11s, they potentially set more than one fire. How about an ABX 11-inch option? So that would mean going with modern towers. So modern and secondary. Where am I going to put the torpedo launchers? Where am I going to put the torpedo launchers? 1, 2, 3. That's a bit heavy on the stern. Okay. Advanced funnel, is that enough? No, not quite. 58 engine efficiency, that's quite low. 99.6, now we're getting somewhere. I would like a rangefinder, please. I would like Generation 2 radar. I would like Sonar 2, auto-loaders, electrical hydraulic turrets. Super heavy shells. I'm going to focus these around setting a lot of fires. So, Bernie. I think, yeah, most of them don't really have a benefit to high explosive. This is more shell pen. But I'm going for high explosive, so it doesn't matter. At least 2 powder 3s ruled out, because it takes away from the fire chance. This one, more gun range. That could be useful. A little bit higher muzzle velocity, which is not ideal. Let's go for 2 powder 2. And when it comes to the shell charge, as much high explosive damage as possible. So probably picric acid. This is 17.5. And this is 25 with a 10% chance of flash fires. Let's go with that. I'm not going to go for secondary armament. The main guns, the 11-inchers, are going to have to do everything, which is putting potentially a lot of pressure on them. But I think it'd be wise to just devote the rest of my tonnage to torpedo launchers. So let's put this thing on a barbette. That way I can house some torpedo launchers on the stern. And let's see, I might need to shift the bow turrets around a little. And these are going to have to be very big torps. 24-inchers, I want them to hit very hard. They need to be, I think, electric to reduce their torpedo detection. And unfortunately now they're not properly placed. So that would have to be there. Could I make this? Maybe. If I shift the entirety of the superstructure forward. So both the A turret and the modern tower and the secondary. That at least puts a bit more forweight offset on. Then I put this turret here. And we're going to go with the torpedo launcher there. No, is that? That's not center. There. And can I put another one? Yeah, I can put another one just behind it. So that's 10 torpedoes that I can put off from the stern. Firing arcs look decent, so I can probably work with that. Put this thing slightly back. I could potentially put a few relatively small torpedo tubes here. Like triples. So I can now throw out 13 torpedoes, and I do want an increased complement of those. As well as an increased complement of shells. Some barbette armor would be much appreciated. And what else can I do? Maybe make them slightly smaller, or slightly faster. 32 knots? Yeah, 32 knots. Aft weight offset? Ooh, pretty heavy. 0.4. Okay, I have 2 tons left. I have no torpedo blister. But I do have decent sonar. And my turning circle, let me scroll all the way back up, is 663. So I should be able to see and timely, at least hopefully timely, evade all torpedoes. The amount of torpedoes that I carry is 15 per launcher here. So that's 30 in total, and then another few here. Hopefully sufficient. Hopefully sufficient. Starting range is 18,000, which immediately brings me pretty close to torpedo range, but doesn't quite put me in it yet. I need to get to 13 kilometers. And considering that I'm a pretty fragile target, that could be a problem. Anyway, I think this is maybe not the ideal ultimate heavy cruiser, but it's a good step in the right direction. It's a good step in the right direction. Can I shift this here? No, but no, not good enough. Oh well, let's see if this thing can actually hold up. Alright, Japan, let's see what you have crafted for me today. Okay, let's begin with turning the torpedo launchers off on everything. I don't want any premature launches. And when it comes to the formation system, let's see, we got the 4 ships here. Salem, Albany, Charlotte, and Colorado. As well as Frederick, Pennsylvania, and all the way over there to St. Louis. Where's the enemy fleet heading? And what are they carrying? They're coming relatively towards me, firing 12 15-inch guns. Okay. I haven't identified the ship yet, but I can already tell you that the pen chance is 50-50. So in order to reduce that and to gain torpedo range, I'm going to have to close in. It's not ideal, but it's the way that's going to be. All ships fire high explosive. The other div, turn the other way. I'm going to try and have this div, so div 1, move more or less in their direction, and the other one to intercept them, crossing their T and dropping torps as they do that. Off you go. The battleship has been identified. That was the 15-inchers. The battle cruisers. These are packing 18 12-inchers. With which I think they'll not be able to do that much damage. But they sure have a lot of firepower on them. Salem, Charlotte, Colorado, Albany, everybody's opening up. Firing high explosive shells at the battleship. And I'm hoping to get some hits in the superstructure to start doing some damage to their control ability, especially the damage control ability. It's going to take a while in order to get through that, however. There, everything's getting blocked. That's the battleship. Blocked, 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 partial pen. Hold on, is this plunging fire potentially? All ships, switch to AP. There, fire set. I want to see what my chances are with armor piercing. Because if this is plunging fire, I might be able to go right through their pretty fragile, supposedly, deck armor. Partial pens. Pen. See? Kind of works. Ricochet, pen, destroy the casemate. Not bad. So at maximum range, these ships can be somewhat successful. Range to the enemy battleship, however, is 19 clicks from the Salem's group. Pennsylvania has just taken her first hit. And immediately loses 5% of structural integrity. St. Louis and Frederick are still falling into formation. That's good. The issue with the heavy cruiser as I have it right now is that it's not terribly quick. Because of that, it's going to be difficult for me to get closer to those ships and drop my torpedoes. If the situation is as bad as I suspect it might be, these battleships and battle cruisers are going to be a lot faster than my ship. Interestingly, while I am not doing that much damage, it is starting to add up. This ship is starting to flood, and you can definitely see its amount of hit points going down at a reasonable rate. The flooding is also excellent because it might give me more opportunity to intercept them. Let's see. I've done 500 damage, I've taken 187. It's not too bad. ID, 40%. That is their destroyer. The destroyer can't hit me at all. What sort of build do we have here? We got torpedoes there, and the rest are single barrel, what is that, 4-inch. As well as a couple of 3-inchers and 2-inchers, so they're not likely to be a threat. The light cruisers could be packing torpedoes. Yeah, they are, there. They have a lot of 2-inch guns and 3-inch guns, and 15 6-inch guns as their mains. So they're definitely not in range yet, which is excellent. 15 clicks out, it's still too far, especially since they're heading away from me. Colorado, state your speed. 32 knots, good man. They're doing best speed, trying to catch up. Alright, let's let our ships work for a little bit. Here are the battle cruisers. I wonder if the pen chance is going down, which would mean that my belt armor is starting to work. Yeah, there we go, 20% only. That's from the battle cruisers. The battleship against the Pennsylvania is still 50%, but she's targeting Salem. It's 48 and dropping. But she's probably at a range where it's still more or less plunging fire. We're just very, very slowly but steadily whittling away at the battleship. ID 70%. ID 80%. Destroyer 73. Light cruisers are all back there, and assumedly not yet a threat. 85. Range. 14. We're getting there. 13.2 is what I need. And then less. Because that ship is still... well... it's not heading away from me, but it could easily change. It does, however... have a ship to shield it. A destroyer. With potentially better sonar systems than the battleship. Let's see what we can learn about this guy. Battleship Kanko. 61,000 tons at 23.8 knots. She is starting to flood. She has few bulkheads, so she's a torpedo target. She's crewed by regular trained crew. She's lost 10% of her population so far. Anti-torpedo blister 5. Acoustics, sonar 3. Turning circle 726. This is not good. This means I'm going to have to torpedo this thing with several ships in order to potentially land 1 or 2 hits. But those 1 or 2 hits that I do land could very well be effective. We got the Yezakura destroyer here, which did drop torpedoes. They have very good range. I suppose that these are oxygen-run torps. And they have the potential to sneak up on me. I don't know where they are yet. Okay, so the Pennsylvania's in range, but she's the only one. Yugamo also launched her torpedoes against the heavy cruiser. But which one? That's the real question. Which ship are you trying to target? I'm gonna have to keep a very close eye on the reports here, because if there are torpedoes in the water, I need to know about it. The battle cruisers are faster, but not faster than my heavy cruisers. Few bulkheads as well. 12-inch guns, green training level, so they're a little bit less experienced than the crew on the battleship. And when it comes to armor, 57% chance to pen the battle cruiser. 34 against the battleship. Range, 11.4, range, 12. Gentlemen, we're going to change target to the Chokai. And the Chokai could very well be an interesting target. 1,458 meter turning circle. They might have sonar 3, but it's going to be an interesting experience for them to try and dodge torpedoes. Now, if I don't hit the Chokai itself with the torpedoes, I might still pose a threat to the light cruisers behind them. Alright. 10 clicks. Pennsylvania, turn broadside. Let's see if the belt can take those 15-inch shells. No. Not at that angle. Lovely. If I would switch targets, I can get about 3% chance to hit against the destroyer. Okay, we're going to do that. Because if I can eliminate the destroyer, the Yugamo, then the battleship's going to have less warning about impending torpedo problems. 4%, 3%, 2%. These are 11-inch super heavy high explosive shells. If they hit the Yugamo, I think we'll not have any more Yugamo soon. Unfortunately, she's just popped her smoke screen. You guys are not firing high explosive. You do not fire armor piercing at a destroyer. It's a big waste of your effort. Okay. There we go. Let's set some normal torpedoes out, since I have a lot of them on the Salem. Starboard launcher, as well as the stern launchers, bring them to bear. But, since the ship's heading away, no joy. Ooh, big hit on the destroyer. Taking out almost 20%. Just pop it. There. Keep them busy for a bit. Let's just stick with one salvo and see how it goes. The Chokai is starting to take damage. 57% chance to pen them. 8% chance to pen me. Oh, but the same cannot be said for my turrets, because my A turret is toast. That is problematic. That's a third of my firepower that's just missing. On the Salem, that is. And Pennsylvania has taken some flooding and some serious damage. Did you eat a torpedo? No, you didn't. It was just high explode. It was 15-inch partial pens. Okay. There's not a whole lot left of the Yugumo. Excellent. This thing is starting to flood pretty bad. She has many bulkheads though, but her bow is flooding. And now another compartment's going down. 7%. The ship is mostly submerged as it is. That's another big chunk of damage, and that ought to do her in. There she goes. Yugumo's down. That might give me an opportunity to torpedo the battleship there at a range of 11 clicks. Eh. It's not ideal, but we'll just have to chance it, I guess. Frederick. You too will charge into the enemy. You'll probably not enjoy it, but it has to be done. The Yodo light cruiser has just opened up. Okay. Battle line with the Salem. We're going to fire high explosive at the light cruiser. Destroy the secondary gun on the Chukai. Where are my torpedoes at? Here. It's going to be a long time before we get anywhere near that. I'm going to have the Pennsylvania, St. Louis, and Frederick move into the enemy. And hopefully just burn this ship a little bit. And Penchance is probably going to go... No, it's going up. I was expecting it to go down, considering that I'm getting closer to the ship and the belt armor might start to play a bigger role. But no. The issue, however, is the Yezakura over here, which will probably open up soon. And this is the point where I wished I had some sort of secondary armament. Yeah, you just torpedoed me, didn't you? They generally go for the closest target, which, in case of the Yezakura, is the Frederick. Kanko is down to 53% structural. My torpedoes are still transiting. Could very well hit the Chokai. Torpedoes in the water. Origin, most likely the Yodo. Heavy damage to the Yezakura. Excellent. Things are starting to get seriously warm aboard the Kanko as... Yeah, she's lost her secondary turret there. And a lot of the superstructures looking a bit worse for wear. But so far it's partial pens only. Is it worth it to switch to armor piercing? It could be. It could be. Boom! That's 11-inch high explosive on the Yezakura, doing a lot more damage. Kanko is capable of turning pretty quick. That's the problem. Okay, new plan. I need the St. Louis to finish off the Yezakura, because then the St. Louis can open up with torpedoes against the Haruna. Allowing me to get a couple of those 24-inch hits on the Haruna would probably sink her. It looks like the Chokai has been made aware of the torpedo problem. And she's moving to turn. The Chokai detected the torpedoes. Okay. Chokai apparently is not doing full speed. Now she's doing 19 knots. Which explains why her turning circle is suddenly so much better. Detach Charlotte that way. Colorado, join Charlotte in Division 6. There. We're going to turn that way. Serious damage to the light cruiser Yodo. I guess we're going to have to close the distance to the Chokai and just torp her from right close, because generally that's, at least with the current version of the game, the only way that I seem to get hits on them. No torpedoes yet threatening the St. Louis, but there was definitely a torpedo coming out of what I think was the destroyer. Can go down to 38%. That battleship is taking a serious beating. And the Pennsylvania is still targeting it. So far, turrets on the Frederick are perfectly fine. The only damage to her is the superstructure. Torpedoes in the water. 1,000 damage to the Yezakura, and that'll probably sink her. There she goes. The issue, however, is that I'm not sure if it's still a problem, but there used to be this thing where a sinking ship can still detect torpedoes. It's annoying, but it is a factor. So I need to wait until the Yezakura is completely down before I'm able to go on the offensive against anything else. Okay, Yodo is down. It's well done. That allows these guys to immediately start switching a target to the Chokai. Everybody target the Chokai. Automatic shell selection, please. We don't strictly need high explosive against the Chokai, not at this range. We can definitely do more damage than that. Canco down to 27% as the St. Louis continues to close. At this point, about 40% chance to pen. In reverse, that is 14%. That is properly frustrating for that battleship, as she has very little opportunity to actually do damage against the heavy cruiser, which is normally what a battleship should have no problem hitting. We have a torpedo hit on the Haruna from one of my heavy cruisers. I'm just honestly not sure which one, but I think it might have been the torpedo. I don't know. Wow, what happened to you? The Chokai has taken a ton of damage. Did she have a flash fire or something? Hold on. Because I can do quite a bit of damage with my heavy cruisers, but not that much. Chokai is flooding. There. Ammo detonation on the Chokai from a hit from the Albany. Oh. Pennsylvania has been hit 3 times with a torpedo. I need to pull the Pennsylvania away. She needs to go. Oh well. We're going to turn this off. The battlecruiser Chokai is down. The battleship is flooded and has a damaged rudder. That's an opportunity to use the starboard launcher on the St. Louis to try and get a couple of torpedoes into her. Haruna will most likely spot those torpedoes. Get all the way back up. She might spot them, but I wonder how capable she is of dodging them. Speaking of, I have a bit of a problem from the Chikuma. I might be able to slip between the... Oh shit, there's even more. There is even more. Albany. Focus down. You focus that one down. You guys focus that one down. Canco down to 17% structural. Starboard launcher popped against the Canco. Torpedo hit on the Frederick. I was not able to dodge all of them. Shit, could you cut that out? They have underwater side-mounted torpedo launchers. That's not something I was particularly expecting, nor happy about. Still, the battle seems to be going well. The Haruna... No, you can be able to dodge everything. Secondary tower's been destroyed. Come on. Give me at least a few hits. So far, I haven't lost a single ship, and I would like it to keep it that way. Albany, try and dodge the sinking Chokai, please. Wow, the Haruna dodged everything. That is not what I wanted to see. Damn it. Okay, their light cruiser's out of commission. The torpedoes here could very well find the Kanko and immediately shut it down. All of their lights are down. All ships, this way please. No, you don't have to start following each other. You just have to keep going towards the rest of the targets. Torpedo hits the battleship. Mostly amidships, causing some flooding, but also a little bit of structural integrity. Not as much as I would have liked, but that's very much down to their ability to shrug off a lot of torpedo damage with the torpedo blister. St. Louis is stuck. I cannot really pull the St. Louis away from the threat here of the Haruna, because if I do that, I'm exposing broadside to either the battleship or the battlecruiser. And neither thing is particularly appealing. So I'm just going to have to keep hoping that the belt armor, well, sort of tanks it. Unfortunately, my main superstructure is also toast now. 2% there and 6% buoyancy. She'll go down. There she goes. There she goes. That leaves just the Haruna. Everybody switch to high explosive at this range. I'll just pick this one apart bit by bit. And the wounded Pennsylvania is alive, afloat. She has 3 damaged engines, but she's not gone. That's the key. How long did these take to reload? 1,019 seconds. At this point I think the Haruna is going to be down one way or another. It just remains to be seen how much of a torpedo hit I'm going to need on her, if any. But considering how quickly she's flooding, probably not too many. Hold a second. Look at that tower here. Main and secondary tower completely gone. The ship is pretty deep in the water, which is surprising, considering that I haven't actually taken on that much water. It's down 4%. Give you a couple of screenshots of that. Okay. You may commence your sinking now. Chance to pen, 50-50. Armor piercing only. Boom! More flooding on the Haruna. 3%, 2%, 1% dead. Mission accomplished. No heavy cruisers were lost in this battle. All the Japanese ships have been destroyed. Does that mean this is the ultimate heavy cruiser? Maybe. Maybe. Because if this thing faces off against a horde of destroyers, well, I'm going to have different issues. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Let me know what your definition is of an ultimate heavy cruiser down below in the comment section. And I'll see you guys soon for more videos.